Welcome everybody to the YouTube video. I am doing this recording for the students for my university. We are in a WhatsApp group. If you're not in a WhatsApp group, it's understandable. There are other links I will put down in the description below if you want to install it as well, to have it ease of access on to install the JGrasp. And I'll put later on some practices in which places you can get to practice your Java programming with JGrasp. You can use other IDEs, integrated development environments, but for now, this is just a tutorial on how to install JGrasp with the JDK or Java Development Kit so that you can get up and running. First, we want to download JDK. I will put these links in the description below as well. I'll try and put down the files as well in the bottom description below so that you guys can install it much easily if you can find the files. So first we go to Java downloads. We say download JDK. We scroll down a little bit. You'll see Java 19. And it will say Linux, macOS, and Windows. If it doesn't show this, there is a requirement to install it. There's a hardware requirement, a specs requirement for your computer to able to run it. I think it's a dual core, 1 gigs of RAM, and a couple of megabytes storage. But it's recommended that you get a little bit better than that so that it can show you immediately. If you're unsure, if you're in a university, ask your lecturer. If you have friends or students that are working with you, you can ask them as well. But for now, let's just install it. You see Linux, macOS, and Windows. You go to Windows. Scroll all the way down. There's 3 options. I do not recommend the other 2 because the first one is a zip file. It's a compressed file. If you don't know what that is, Google it, compressed files or .zip. The extension name is .zip. You can check that up in Google. It will show you what a .zip is. But for simplicity's sake, I will let you do the execution file because you only have to click once, no extraction needed. It's only less than 160 megabytes, which is smaller than 180, which is better in my opinion. So you take the 64 installer and you press on the download site which they give you. You click download. Pop up on the top right depending on which browser you're using. You can use any browser, any Google will be fine. As long as on a computer, laptop, Chrome notebooks, I think Chromebook notebooks or something. Mac OS, I do not know because I don't have a Mac on me. But once you're there, just go to your files, downloads. It will be on your downloads. As you can see, it says today, JDK 19. You double click on that. It'll ask you to install. Note self, you need admin privileges to download and install. If you don't have it, ask your work company for admin privileges. You can download this on the YouTube video. You just go to my YouTube channel. You can just go down there, get the link or get the file and just install it. But if you have admin privileges, you can go on. It says, do you want to make changes? Because since I am admin on this desktop, I can install it. Now you say yes. Now you'll see you'll have to wait a little bit depending on your speed. If you have a hard disk drive or an SSD, SSD is preferable because it's just makes life easier on the Windows 10, whichever Windows system you're running on. Now it's going to show you the setup. It's 64-bit. Don't worry about the 64-bit for now. Just click next. Do not change anything. Do not change the path. Do not change anything. We want to keep it as simple as possible so it works. You just keep saying next. You can change the path if you want. Just click change. You can change the path file you want. But for simplicity's sake, let's just keep it on default. Now we click next. It says status. It will say copying files, extracting. It will install all the things you need. And look at that. Only a couple of clicks there. Successfully installed. It will say completed. Now you're asking, how do we install JGrasp? Well, I'm going to show you that now. In the next couple of steps, I won't even take a couple of minutes. Not even that. Maybe like a minute or two, depending on the speed of your computer and how fast I can explain it to you. Now click close. We click close. We go back to Google. Okay, it's important that you go back to Google. You click down. You type in download JGrasp. The spelling is right here, JGrasp. We go to JGrasp home page. Okay, we click on that. The first one you see. On the right hand side, on the top of the screen, if you look at my cursor, just underneath the line, double line on the right hand side, there's a big G. It says download JGrasp. Click on that. Now you're on the download section. You scroll a bit down until you see green buttons that says JGrasp EXE. Again, for those Mac OS users, there is the JGrasp package. I don't know how to install it, but the package is there if you want to download it and use it. But for simplicity's sake, I'm only doing Windows, so click on the JGrasp EXE green button. Since you already installed the JDK, it's important to install the JDK first because it says require Java 8 or higher. You have to install Java first before you install the JGrasp, because otherwise it won't work and you will get errors. Okay, let's go, just put that on. We go to File Explorer again, at the bottom, File Explorer, like we did again, to your downloads, JGrasp. It says JGrasp 206_10.exe. You click on this. It will ask you to admin privileges, or if you have admin privileges, it will ask you to allow to install. If you have, again, admin privileges, click yes. Pop-up setup screen as well, the same as the JDK. There's a setup screen in front of you. You can read if you want. It's not necessarily needed, but you can read. It's always important to read what you are installing. Click next. There is a license agreement that you can read through if you want. If you feel unsafe, you can just read through it. But since we want to use the program, we have to agree. Otherwise, we can't use it. So press I agree. Keep everything standard. You see, you don't change anything, nothing. You don't change anything. Keep everything default as is. You don't click any buttons. Okay. The only button you click is next to continue. Okay, we click next. It's gonna ask you where you wanna store the JGrasp. Keep it default. That's again, the C drive is your main drive, depending on what drive you have in, but it will be on your main drive, which your operating system or Windows 10 is on, or any Windows operating system is on. Tell you how much space it requires, only 12.6 megabytes out of how many you have, and just click next. Again, don't change anything. You can read through again, but do not change anything. Click next. Don't change anything again. Keep everything simple and click install. Look at that. Completed JGrasp setup. What does it mean? It means it's done installing. So I click finish. Now that we have JGrasp installed, we can close all these tabs. There will be a shortcut icon on your desktop which says JGrasp. So you can either use this to open it up. If you don't have it and you check the box which says do not put it on my desktop, you can go all the way down here to your search bar and your Windows next to your start button. Click here and you just type in JGrasp. You can type it until you see the big G on your screen. It will say JGrasp app, best match. Click on this. It will open. It will ask you. It will say, give you a warning. Don't press OK, otherwise the warning will keep showing. It's just to remind you that it says you may be experiencing problems or something, but and to back up your work if nothing does work, but it will work if you did install the JDK first. Otherwise, it'll show error. So just say don't show again. After that, you're in. You can now click File, Since you're in your thing, it will be like this and a bit zoomed out. I'm a bit zoomed in so that I can show you later on how to code in it. Your files is on your left-hand side of your screen. The bottom one, bottom middle, it says compile messages and stuff like that. That is your console. That will show you the errors, how it runs, if it's running, outputs, all of that good stuff. You can clear any messages that come up. You can clear it. Do not worry about these other things. I'll explain them later. But for now, you can now go to the top left corner side of your screen. Click File, New, and then click Java. There are others like C#, C, C++, VHDL, XML, all of those, Python. If you want to try Python, Python's pretty good. But for the simplicity's sake of we're doing Java, you just click Java. Now that it's open, you can now start practicing all your code and start practicing like you practice mathematics, because that's how you learn coding. You do it, you work with it. You don't have to do it 5, 10, 20 hours a day, an hour or two a day with breaks in between, like a 10-minute break, 5-minute break in between is fine. Go make a cup of coffee, come back and just study on again or work again. I will put links below for beginners. The one recommendation that I will be putting on the description below that I highly recommend for absolute beginners is W3 Schools. Now, once you type in W3 Schools in your search bar in Windows, you can go to the first site which says W3 Schools online web tutorials. You click on it. It will ask, it says learn to code with the world's largest web developer site. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to log in. You don't have to do anything. You can if you want. There are good features on this which can help you a lot. They do have HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, SQL, PHP, jQuery, Java, JC++, a lot of different code which you can choose from. But for simplicity's sake, you can go up here, which there's a search bar, and you can just say Java, and then on the second option it says Java tutorial. Click on Java tutorial, and here you are. It shows you all the beginnings. It will give you a beginner guide to how to not just install, but again, we already installed it. It will explain everything about Java. For example, learn Java. It says Java is used for mobile apps, web apps, desktop apps, games, and much, much more. So, and there's also practices. It says try yourself. You can practice your Java on here. They will give you this. You can practice. It will say here you can change whatever you want. You can say plus 34. Then you say run. It just takes a little bit of time depending on your internet speed as well. 34, there it is. So you can practice. It has its own built-in coding IDE, but I recommend Jgrasp since it's manual. It's very, very manual. But that's all for the video. I hope this helps you out. I hope you can install it, try it. You know, if you're a child, if you have a child, you want him to experience programming, but on a easier way, so that he can slowly build up his knowledge and experience into programming. And then you can go further from there. There are other places that actually helps even more. But for now, for the simplicity's sake, we keep it simple for those who are beginning to try programming. If you're stuck, ask my friend Mr. Google. You guys in the comment section can help each other out there as well. But for me, for the university, I am studying at, there is a WhatsApp group. You can ask them as well. You can ask away for those admins, those students, for help. There are tutoring, free tutoring on it, so you can use that as well to your advantage. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next Java programming video.